Okay, so what you guys are gonna need is 3 pieces of chipboard. Okay, the first piece. Okay, first I'm gonna explain how I cut things. This is my good one that I use for the pattern paper, and I don't mark that one. For this one, I marked it because I use this for chipboard. I just put purple Sharpie on it so I don't accidentally tear my pattern paper to shreds, because after using it on the chipboard, that's what's gonna happen. So the first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure if you bend your chipboard, it bends easier in one direction or the other. So where it's the more difficult side, I want you to set it in like that and give it a little slice. That's 7 inches. Okay. Do that twice. Okay. 7 inches. Now you take your third, so that's 2 pieces, and I want you to take your third piece and cut it. This one we're going to cut all the way through, so I'm going to show you why I do it this way. So these 2 pieces here, you don't want to cut it all the way through. We're going to leave it like this because it's going to help keep this together nice and strong. We're still going to put construction strips on here later on, but for now you only want the blade to just slice through a couple of the layers of the chipboard. This one, we're going to cut it right through. So we're going to cut this one as 7 as well. And then what we're going to do, we're going to get our craft knife and we're going to cut it all the way through. And you don't have to go very hard. You can go through a couple times if you like. And because you've already cut it, it acts as a guide, so you can cut it in a straight line. Okay? So now I want you to take this piece here. This is the 7 by 12 piece. And I want you to cut it at 5 inches. And again, we're going to be cutting this all the way through. So cut it once. And while we have this here, I'm also going to cut this down to 5 inches. Okay. So now you got both of these pieces. I'm going to cut these off. There's one. And see, when you do it like this, it's so much easier. It makes life easy. Bam. See that? So this piece here, I want you to mark it with a pencil. Find my pencil. And this one is 7 inches by 5 inches. Okay, so we're going to set this aside. And this one is 5 inches by 5 inches. Okay, you're going to use this as a template, so you can even write on a template, just so you don't get it mixed up with the rest. Okay. Now what I want you to do is take this piece, and this piece is 5 inches by 7 inches again. Okay, same size. See, this one you're going to mark is this one you're going to use. So you have 7 by 5, and what I want you to do is cut this one as well, and I believe it is going to be cut at 3/4 of an inch. Okay, and I want you to do this twice. So 2 and 5 by 3/4, 5 by 3/4 of an inch, and cut these off. Okay. And you can mark on it 5 by 3/4 of an inch. Okay, because you can always erase it. All of this is going to be covered in paper, so you don't really have to worry about it too much. So take this, set it aside. Then what I want you to do is cut a piece. I just want to make sure I got the right size here. Okay. This piece, I want you to cut it at 1/2 inch. Okay, and I want you to cut it right off. Okay. So that's that piece at 1/2 inch. And then what I want you to do is cut it off at 5/8 of an inch. Again, if you don't want to use my method, that's fine with me. You use whatever you're comfortable with. I'm sorry, that's not 5/8. Huh. Let's cut this off. Okay. 5/8. Actually, sorry, this piece got to be 1 1/4 inch. 1 1/4. That's why. 1 1/4. I'm a pusher instead of a puller. So I'm going to take this, put the cutter down. I'm going to do this, cut these two off completely. Alright. Now, you're going to need your hole punch. I don't care what you use. We're going to be putting brads in later, so you need a hole. Oh my gosh, that's not it. You need a crocodile or a hole punch big enough that you're going to be able to fit a brad into it. Okay? So we're going to use our template right now. I'm going to do this one first. And what we're going to do is we're going to find the center. So it's 5 by 5. So obviously, half of that, pardon me, is 2.5. So what I'm going to do is get my handy dandy pencil again. And I'm going to measure this at 2.5. I'm going to put a line right there. Okay? So then what I want to do is go in 1/2 of an inch. No. Yeah, 1/2 inch. I'm going to go in 1/2 of an inch. Okay. And I'm going to put a circle at 2.5. Okay, so this is basically, you're going to be using this as a template. As well, take this, you can eyeball it. The center of this would be here. Okay, I'm just going to eyeball this. You want to do this as well, at least 1/4 of an inch up. So I have one here, just to show you. Let's measure it. Let's see. I actually want to just, I measured up 1/8 of an inch on this one. So if you want to, you measure up 1/8 of an inch, find the center. I'm going to go a little over 1/8 on this. Just, it doesn't really matter, as long as you're under 1/4. So there's a mark. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold both of these together because the crocodile is awesome, and I'm going to mark this, or sorry, punch a hole right where I marked it. I'm going to go through both layers. Okay, so now I have 2 of these. A little hole. And then what I'm going to do is take my template, and I am as well going to punch a hole where I marked. Okay, so you're going to use this as a template. These two you're keeping. Okay, so set these aside. Now, set your template aside as well for now. And your extra piece of chipboard. So, what I'm going to do is we're going to work on this. Okay? So this is going to be the front part of your mailbox. Okay? You can give a little bend, just so you can see a little better when you set it down. Okay? Now, what you need to do with this is you need to get your ruler out again, and I want you to mark off 1 inch from the outside. And you just go lightly in pencil. Okay. Oops. This is a quilting ruler, by the way. I know there's a gazillion different rulers out on the market. I just like my quilting rulers because I used to quilt. Okay, and mark 1 inch at the bottom. Okay. So like that. Alright. Then what I want you to do is 3 inches from the top. Let me just make sure. Hold on. 1 second. Sorry, 2 inches. Oh, here. What I usually do in my videos is I do this for you guys so that you can go back and have a little reference later on. You can push pause. I don't know if you can see that really well. I'm going to zoom in just a touch here. Okay. You have to hold it like this. So you can hold it like this so you can see it a little better. I'm actually going to zoom back out. Okay. So this is your template. Okay. So I'm going to do it like that so you guys can see it. You can go back and reference it later. Okay. So now what I want you to do, because I forgot to do this, is go down 2 inches from this side. Okay. And for this one, I want you to go all the way across the whole sheet. Okay, so here's what you have so far. 2 inches and 1 inch on the left side of this and at the bottom. Okay, that's what we have so far. Now, I don't know what you guys use to make circles. You can either make a circle, and there's so many different tools out there. You can use a big giant mug if you want, but what I'm going to use to make an arch here is my score tape roll, because, you know, it's always handy and it's good to have. So what I'm going to do is I am going to line this up as best I can. Actually, I don't have, let me see if I have a full roll of score tape here. Oh yeah, that'll work better. So I want to have the top here. Again, I'm just going to turn this because I can't see it. I'm sure you guys don't want to see my head. Okay, so I'm going to line the score tape up with the top. Alright. And then I'm going to draw like that. So now I have an arch. Okay. Turn these away. You can draw it by hand too if you're good at that. I'm not good at that. I like computer aided or score tape. Alrighty, so now what I want you to do is I want you to take your template and I want you to draw the rest of this square. So I just basically want you to trace around this. Okay? So line it up with your pencil marks that you made there and trace around it. Okay? Then what I want you to do is I want you to mark with a ruler. Okay? Let's go this way. 1 inch up. Okay? And basically you're going to carry this on this way. You'll see what I mean in a second. So line it up at the inch line. Now again, I can see through here, so I can see the line underneath. Okay, like that. All right, and then we want 2 inches up. Okay. That lined up right. I pray to God you guys cannot hear my son screaming at the top of his lungs right now. Okay, so with your template, you're going to line it up with this pencil mark that you made and the side. Okay, so you're going to line it up over here. You're going to line it up over here. And then you're just going to draw a light line. So now you have, this is even with the bottom. Okay? And you take your eraser and erase this out. Okay? So save your template. You're going to need it again. So I'm going to erase these lines just so I don't get busy cutting through them. Okay? Because I do that. Alright, so what I want you to do, you're looking at this from the top side. I want you to lightly take this pencil and just go like this, and that will prevent you from cutting this line. You do not want to cut this line, at least not from this side. Okay, and then I want you to take this side here and do a light pencil mark. That'll just stop you from cutting that line. Okay. So you just see I just lightly did that just to stop myself from cutting it. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out this arch. Now it's not as easy to cut this off here first, just from this line right here. Alright, and then what I want you to do is lightly trace with your craft knife. Okay? It's like tracing with a pencil, basically. You don't want to push too hard because we got all weekend to do this, or all night if you're a night hawk like me. Okay, I'm going to keep cutting this until we get through it. Okay, so I'm basically through there. There we go. One side. And then do the same thing here. Just trace it lightly. And when you do that, okay, it gives you a guideline for your blade the next time you go through. Alright? And again, I'm not going hard at all. I'm going pretty light. So you just want to keep tracing this. And once you do the first one, uh-oh, I broke the tip off. It guides you. It guides you through. Okay? Painless. Painless, I tell you. And look at that. I broke the tip off of my blade. And I'm going to put that into my garbage right now before the puppy ends up somehow with it in his mouth. Because God knows he ends up with everything in his mouth, including one of these that I did already. Just saying. Okay, so now we have this. Now, if you want to trace these, you can. Okay, because I want you to cut these all the way through. But again, this is how I do it. Okay. You don't really need this, but I put it out anyway. Give me a little stability. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to line, there's a little metal wire in there in this cutter, and I'm going to line up the pencil mark that I've made here with the line, okay? Then I'm going to take my blade and I'm going to move it up. Let me move this up so you can see a little better. Okay, I'm going to move it up to this line, and I'm going to drop it in, okay? And then I'm going to cut. Oopsie. Apparently not like that. while I'm holding the chipboard, because as you can see, I almost lost that. Okay, so we've cut up to there. Same with this piece here. Go up here first, line it up. Again, just wanted to pick it up to show you, and then what you can do is take this and line it up. Sometimes I stand for this, and cut to this line here. Okay, and we want to do that this side. So first I'm going to put it in, I'm going to line it up, and then I'm going to drop it down here, and I'm going to cut to this line. Okay, this is the line we put the mark through. We don't want to cut this on this side, but we are going to cut this way to this line. Okay, and we're going to do it again. First we're going to line it up. I know it takes a little longer this way, but this ensures that you have a very straight line. Okay. Again, cutting only to this line. All right. And we can do this one. Don't do this one. Line this edge up here. This, drop it down, give it a little push in there, slide it to this line here. Okay, and now we only have one more to cut, which is this one. Okay, so line it up. Okay, and we're going to start at this line here and cut to here. So now what I want to do is I want to take my craft knife and I'm going to go in on all these lines I just cut. Okay, and I want to go right through to the other side. So again, take your time. You don't have to push hard. You don't have to use brute force, although sometimes I do, but that's just me. Okay, and you can feel when you've gone through to the other side. Okay, don't bend this up yet, just leave it like that, and cut this one. I'm cutting these all the way through. Okay. Alright, so, ooh, it just fell in, look at that. So I have these like this. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make it face us. Okay. We're going to turn it over. And we can see on this side where these lines end. Okay. Because we've just cut it all the way through, so we can see that. So what I want you to do is take your trimmer. You can mark a pencil if it makes you feel better, but I can see this through the middle. And I'm going to line this up again with the wire. And again, we're cutting from the back side here. So that's lined up pretty good. Maybe not. Go to there. And I'm going to drop it in here. And I'm going to put it down to this line, this cut line here. I just cut. Okay. And we're going to turn it around and we're going to do this one. Okay, so line it up first. Pick this up. And drop it down here. And we're only going to cut it to this line. Okay. And here's what we got. And we're not going to cut this all the way through, okay? So what we have is a door, which we can now hold this down and flip it back to the front. Lift it up a bit, hold this down, and just give it a little light bend. Like that. Okay? And we can make sure we bend it all the way back. Okay? So there's bottom door, and then this one the same. I'm going to turn it this way, and we're going to lift this up a little bit. Okay? And then we're just going to lightly push it up, and now we have the mail slot door. Okay? Now, these two pieces that you cut off, we're going to use these later. Okay? So save them. Alright? What I want you to do now is come on, I'm dropping stuff. Okay, I want you to take your other piece here, okay, that you've done, and I want you to trace, okay, line them up, set it down, and trace. You can either trace this with the pencil, okay, or you can just use your craft knife, whatever you're comfortable with. You will want to hold this, okay, so just make sure it's lined up at the bottom, okay, so bottom here, side here. I'm just going to cut it. I'm going to put a light little trace line in there with my blade. I think I'm through already. Okay, we do that one, and now you want to pick these up, whatever. Just make sure you don't move it, because you want these two, both of the sections to be exactly the same. Okay, so I'm just going to trace this lightly. And remember, peoples, sharp tools are better. Okay? Oops. I'm going to change my blade out because I basically just cropped the tip out. So I basically have this now. Okay? Just make sure I have it all disconnected here. And there we go. I feel that it's not connected anymore. I'm going to cut this one out to here. Okay. We have two pieces. Alright. And what I want you to do is on this one here, I want you to put the same line that you had on this one, put it on this one. So that line is 2 inches from the top. So do 2 inches from the top. Oops. Like this. Draw yourself a line. Oops. Yes. Like that. Okay? Now, again, you have these pieces. Save them. Okay? I know you think I'm crazy, but you're going to want to save them. Alright? So, I want you to get this out. Okay? And what I want you to do is this pencil line that you just made. Yeah, I'll just go from the top. I want you to cut right on the pencil line. Alright? Only to here. Okay? And you can see that. Just cut it. To there. And I felt it, so I know it went all the way. Then we're going to move it over 1/4 of an inch. 1/4 of an inch. To there. Slice it. Okay? Now we're doing it on this side, right? So this is the side that bends this way. So you want to do it on the outside. So just keep going and cut this 1/4 of an inch all the way to the end. Okay. Now, I have used this for so many years, it's crazy. True story, my Nana used to make a lot of crocheted items, and she used to make these awesome, beautiful clowns. It's probably one of the first things I learned how to make. And she would make them, and baby bottle holders. That was the other thing she did. Okay? And you've got all these cuts, right? So now by doing this and by scoring it, or cutting it, but you've in essence scored it, it will now curve, okay, around your box. Alright? So I want you to do that as well to the other side. Line it up. Okay, so anyway, my Nana, she used to make these really cool clowns, and when she was stuffing them, it was like a nightmare for her, especially when she started to get arthritis really bad. So I don't know where I had seen this, or I don't really remember where I saw it, but I saw it in some kids' craft. So basically, I showed this to her, and I said, Nana, all we gotta do is get the circumference, right, Miss Math Geek here, and we can do this and make a tube to any size of your clown. And the clowns were round, so basically I would make her a tube to fit whatever size clown she had, and it would curve around, and it was a perfect circle, and she would stick it in, and we would just use the cereal boxes, right? She would stick it in, then she could stuff all of her stuffing into the clown that she had crocheted and hold it in with the knitting needle and pull the tube out. And it was so perfect and even every time. She was so happy about that. So yeah, true story. Okay. You can go through the center of this one too, I guess. Now, all chipboard's different, so it is what it is. Alright. So there we go. You can see, because you cut through, you can arch it. Okay? So now I have those. I have one other piece. So, what I want you to do is take this piece that you have left. This was 7 by 7. And I want you to cut it. Hold on. I have my other template. I don't know where to cut it. I'm gonna mess it up. Aha. Okay. You need 7 by 3. Okay. So you're gonna cut this 7 by 7 piece to 7 by 3. Alright. Cut this piece right off. Alright. Butter, I tell you. Okay. Now, again, I'm a pusher. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this at 1/4 inch intervals. Just like we did the last ones. Okay. Doesn't have to be exact, but you want them to be even, right? So you don't want them walking out. So make sure you hold your chipboard down. Okay. I'm just going to turn this around this way so I have something to hang on. Alright. Also, I did a staircase like this. I did the handrail like this, and you layered the wood. So it's kind of a similar thing, so you can get a curve out of it, right? That was a pretty interesting job. So this is the piece. Oops, that is going to fit in here. Okay, so here's your two sides. All right, like this. Now, obviously, it's not together, and this piece is going to be on the top. All right. So that. So here's all your pieces. So you have this side. You have this side. So you have two of those. One's the front, one's the back. You have this piece, and it's 3x7, cut in 1/4 inch intervals. Okay. You have two of these. There it is. Two of these. Two of these. Okay. Your 7x5 sheet. Okay. And your extra pieces here that you've cut out. You're going to keep those as well. Alright. So I believe that's it for the chipboard cutting. And we'll be moving onward to constructing it. Okay, see you in part 2.